please?
For which movie?
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Let's address the elephant in the room. I'm the hottest person in the world.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business.
Rachel Zegler just got caught doing the one thing you never do in Hollywood, mocking the fans who made her famous. Leaked messages from a private group chat allegedly show her trashing Disney diehards as cringe, obsessed, and low IQ. Now, the internet is on fire. The boycott is real, and the calls to recast Snow White are louder than ever. You won't believe who leaked it, and what Rachel said next might have just ended her career.
If I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
The group chat leak hit X like a lightning bolt. It started with a few blurry, unverified screenshots, almost too wild to be real. But within hours, Disney fans had dissected every word, every emoji, and every username. It quickly became clear. The messages were coming from Rachel Zegler herself. And the messages? Brutal. They dress up like cartoon animals and cry over theme park parades. She allegedly wrote, "I can't tell if they need therapy or a restraining order." And that was just the beginning.
Great, okay? It's great. I'm honored. I don't know why I sound so angry right now. I'm honored. Am I a psychopath?
According to insider rumors, the group chat included several of Zegler's longtime friends, a former PR assistant, and a rising influencer, who's reportedly the one who leaked it. And the leak wasn't random. A source told Pop Culture, now that Rachel had been talking down to this person for months and the betrayal was personal, she thought everyone in that chat was loyal, the source said. Turns out one of them was screen recording everything. One screenshot in particular reportedly sent shockwaves through the fandom. When a friend asked if she was excited for the Snow White fan premiere in Anaheim, Rachel allegedly replied, "Please, I'd rather eat glass than smile at another sweaty dad in a dwarf costume asking for an autograph." That message was reposted over 100,000 times within 24 hours, sparking a full-blown fan revolt. Hashtags like #NomReplaceRachel and #NotMySnowWhite began trending instantly, with users calling her ungrateful, elitist, and Disney's worst casting ever.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Yeah.
Weird. I'm a narcissist.
I don't need your business.
In a bizarre twist, Rachel initially liked a post defending her, then unliked it just hours later after fans began tagging Disney's official account, demanding her removal. Some fans are now convinced that her silence is part of a legal strategy. Others believe she's simply trying to ride out the storm, but with creators, influencers, and even former Disney employees piling on, the damage may already be done. One former Disney social media strategist told BuzzPop Weekly, "You can critique the studio, the script, even the marketing, but when you go after the fans, especially the core fandom that buys merch, park tickets, and supports these reboots, that's career self-destruction." Even theme park TikTokers, usually the most apolitical people online, have started calling for Disney to issue a public statement.
Studio released their Snow White remake starring Rachel Zegler, and in the process shattered more little girls' dreams than Harvey Weinstein. That's why no one bothered to show up. Empty theaters across the country tell the true story about this crime against cinema.
Enjoying the vibe and excitement of the streets of London.
Meanwhile, conspiracy theories have started circulating about the group chat leak. Some believe it was an intentional hit job from within Disney, a strategic move to distance the company from a failed film without making it look like an official firing. Others think Rachel's team is behind a different leak, one that blames a former assistant for deepfaking the screenshots, though tech experts have already said the messages appear authentic. The story escalated even further when a verified account belonging to a popular voice actor from a classic Disney movie tweeted, "I've met Walt Disney fans my whole life. They're weird in the best way. Without them, none of us would have careers. Shame on you." The post went viral, and fans began tagging Disney talent across social media, urging them to pick a side. So far, it's been mostly silence. But as one viral tweet put it, Disney's Snow White just became Disney's Titanic.
The actress of the film decided to sit in an empty theater so she can watch her name flash on the screen as she squealed that her film was #1 for 6 days.
And here's the wildest part. Rachel hasn't denied the messages. She hasn't commented at all. No tweet, no Instagram story, no lawyer-written statement, just silence. And in Hollywood, silence speaks volumes. Because if these leaks are real, and signs are pointing that way, this isn't just bad PR. It's the kind of scandal that leaves permanent scars. Rachel Zegler thought she was Disney's next queen. Now, she's ruling over ruins. Her big-budget fairy tale just became Hollywood's biggest faceplant. Theaters are empty, critics are brutal, and fans, they're roasting her like it's medieval times. Because Snow White didn't just flop, it imploded. And at the center of it all is Rachel Zegler, Disney's loudest, most modern princess, whose interviews may have cursed the film long before it ever hit the screen.
Rachel Zegler was a bad decision from day one. She can sing, I'll give her that, but she's got a lot of power, but absolutely no range. Plus, on the flip side, she can't act, and she's a smug big mouth, which even Disney now admits they couldn't control.
But before we dive into the chaos, let's rewind, because this wasn't always the plan. Once upon a time, Rachel Zegler was Hollywood's golden girl. She stole hearts in West Side Story, charmed critics, and climbed the ranks fast. When Disney announced her as Snow White, the reaction was split. Sure, but the hype was real. A fresh face, a new take, a bold direction. They said she'd be the future, but the future had other plans. See, instead of embracing the charm and magic of the original, Rachel came out swinging. She trashed the 1937 classic, calling Prince Charming a stalker, the love story outdated, and the entire premise weird. In interviews, she didn't just modernize Snow White, she bulldozed her. Most importantly, Zegler is not fairy tale princess material. She is a far cry from the character many envisioned.
Most importantly, Zegler is not fairy tale princess material. She is a four-flop phony and a pure Hollywood poison. Her first movie, West Side Story, bombed. Shazam! Fury of the Gods double bombed. Y2K, even a bigger bomb. And now we have Snow White, the biggest bomb of the...
She said this Snow White wasn't waiting for a man and wasn't dreaming about true love. She emphasized that this version of the character had no interest in romantic fulfillment and instead aspired to lead, rule, and pursue power. In her own words, she added, "God forbid a woman want to find love." A line that was meant to be sarcastic, but came off cold and dismissive to many. Rather than reframing Snow White, she dismantled her. The idea of a woman finding happiness in love was treated like a joke, a relic of the past to be mocked. Audiences didn't just feel surprised, they felt attacked. What was once a fairy tale about love and magic suddenly sounded more like a lecture about politics and independence at all costs.
God forbid a woman dream about true love. We're all just sitting around here, oh, maybe I could be president one day. I hate men, I just want to be president.
Fastest way to tank your career, go out there and start running your mouth and trashing the original IP of the film you're in.
She said this Snow White wasn't waiting for a man and wasn't dreaming about true love. She emphasized that this version of the character had no interest in romantic fulfillment and instead aspired to lead, rule, and pursue power. In her own words, she added, "God forbid a woman want to find love." A line that was meant to be sarcastic, but came off cold and dismissive to many. Rather than reframing Snow White, she dismantled her. The idea of a woman finding happiness in love was treated like a joke, a relic of the past to be mocked. Audiences didn't just feel surprised, they felt attacked. What was once a fairy tale about love and magic suddenly sounded more like a lecture about politics and independence at all costs.
Zegler is a loudmouth dope.
No, I've been getting a lot of questions about, how do I feel? Let's address the elephant in the room.
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Think about it. Disney just spent over $250 million for a fairy tale hand grenade that went over budget, got reshot twice, replaced real actors with 7 CGI serial killers, booted the prince, banned True Love, and banished 2 of movies' history's most iconic songs. One of them just happens to be Someday My Prince Will Come.
TikTok lit up with edits mocking her tone. Creators layered dramatic music over clips of her interviews, added sarcastic subtitles, and stitched in reaction clips from other influencers to heighten the cringe factor. YouTube was flooded with reaction videos, some of them rants, others full-on breakdowns, comparing her press appearances to PR disasters of the past. And on X, the memes were merciless. People edited her face onto failed Disney characters, made parody trailers, forced Snow woke, and even created AI-generated skits of her character getting booed off screen. The internet didn't just reject Rachel, it weaponized her image as a symbol of Hollywood arrogance. Audiences weren't just skeptical, they were furious. And here's where it gets worse. Instead of pulling back, Rachel doubled down. She posted a TikTok skit where she walked into a theater all smiles, holding branded Snow White merchandise, trying to buy tickets to her own film. The bit was clearly staged, with the theater employee playing along. She stepped up to the counter, leaned in confidently, and asked for tickets. The cashier deadpanned, "For which movie?" The camera lingered on her forced smile and brief pause, capturing the exact moment when the joke didn't land. What was meant to be a cheeky moment of self-aware humor quickly became internet fuel. People online saw it as pure desperation, an actress so disconnected from the film's failure that she thought mocking it would fix it. The timing couldn't have been worse. Theaters were empty, critics were circling, and this video made it seem like she was laughing at her own flop instead of reckoning with it. Instead of showing humility, it came off like deflection, a last-ditch PR move dressed as a TikTok trend. Cue the awkward silence. She laughs it off, holding Snow White-themed popcorn buckets, striking exaggerated poses, and smirking as if her fame should be self-evident to anyone with a pulse. The video was drenched in irony, clearly designed to mock the idea that someone could forget who she was. But it wasn't funny. It felt staged, hollow, cringy, in the most second-hand, embarrassment kind of way. For many viewers, it was a desperate attempt to go viral that only made the situation worse. Instead of salvaging her image, it cemented the perception that Rachel was out of touch with the reality of her film's failure. Comment sections erupted with accusations of arrogance, denial, and self-delusion. The popcorn buckets, once meant to be quirky promotional props, now looked like props in a PR circus act. Rather than generating buzz, the video became a meme in itself, yet another reminder of how far Snow White had fallen. Because Snow White didn't just underperform, it nosedived. With a $250 million production budget, $150 million in marketing, and expensive reshoots, Disney needed $1 billion to break even. Instead, it opened with just $43 million. By week 2, it plummeted 66%. Globally, it's crawling toward $140 million, and that's being generous. This isn't just a bomb, it's a disaster. And just when things couldn't get worse, the backlash turned political. Sean Lennon, John Lennon's son, called Rachel a disconnected brat. Ex-race car driver Danica Patrick reposted a viral takedown video adding the caption, "Bye-bye," subtle as a sledgehammer. The clip accused Rachel of corporate feminism, TikTok activism, and blamed her for Disney benching her from future projects like Toy Story 5 and the Pirates reboot. Rumors, sure, but they stuck. Then came the Trump posts. Rachel went off, calling supporters dangerous, wishing they'd never win again, and basically painting half the country as the villain. Disney stayed silent. Executives panicked. Theaters were still empty. By now, the Disney machine was melting down. Behind the scenes, insiders whispered that executives were furious, investors were demanding answers, and Disney was looking for a scapegoat. Guess who got thrown under the bus? Yep, the same girl who said people would line up to see her films like The Wing Victory at the Louvre. Now, the only lines are online, people lining up to roast her. But it wasn't just Rachel. Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen, got dragged too. Fans noticed her stiff delivery, weird expressions, and flat lines. Rumors spread of tension between her and Rachel on set. Then came the real firestorm, Rachel's political post about Palestine, which didn't sit well with Gadot's Israeli background. Filming became awkward, press tours turned frosty, and fans began choosing sides. Spoiler, nobody won. Critics, including Disney's own fan base, didn't hold back. They called the movie soulless, preachy, and joyless. They said it lacked charm, killed the romance, and tried so hard to be empowering that it forgot to be entertaining. Even the famous "Someday My Prince Will Come" was axed. Why? Because apparently dreaming of love is offensive now. Instead, audiences got a new girl power anthem with lyrics about feeling trapped and breaking walls. Inspirational? Maybe. Magical? Not even close. But perhaps the biggest twist in this fairy tale is what happened after. The failure of Snow White didn't just tank Rachel's reputation, it shook Hollywood. Studios began rethinking their woke remakes. Disney insiders told, Variety, they were scaling back political messaging in upcoming projects like Lilo and Stitch. Daily Mail reported a wider industry shift, casting decisions being reversed, scripts being rewritten, and marketing teams told to avoid anything that even smells like a lecture. All because of one movie. Rachel's ego, once seen as bold, is now viewed as reckless. Her outspokenness, once praised, is now blamed for a historic box office collapse. She didn't just ruin a fairy tale, she may have ended an era. In the end, Snow White wasn't saved by a prince or a message, it was crushed by hubris. Rachel thought she could rewrite the story, but the audience? They wrote the ending. And that ending? Brutal. If you love messy celebrity moments, flops, and industry shakeups, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and ring the bell so you never miss the next Hollywood train wreck.